Hey everyone, it's 10 Types, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the new set, the new Japanese set released, and I don't know if it's released. I think it's been revealed, yeah. So I'm looking at on Poke Beach, where they have lots of ads, unfortunately, but also lots of good Pokemon content. So yeah, this will be coming. It looks like in June, in the Paldea Evolved set, which will be our second set of the year, I believe. So that's fine. And we're a bit of a ways. We haven't even seen the Scarlet and Violet set come out just yet. But I'm excited for this, and there are some really interesting cards. We see that these are going to have the starters. So let's take a look at some arts and stuff real quick. I don't know the names of the Pokemon. Sprigatito, Fuecoco. I'm pretty sure we've seen these already. But yeah, that's fine. This Paldean Taurus art's pretty sick. And the rest is fine as well. But moving on to the cards, and this is just one set, I believe. So you can see all them here. I do not speak Japanese, so yeah, I don't know what these do, but there's a bunch, and they look pretty cool. And I think no, this does not. I was gonna say this has all the types. I believe it's missing. Let's see. I think it's missing two types. Yeah, it's missing. It doesn't have metal in this set, and it also doesn't have dragon, so that's fine. And only like a few of some of the types. But we will likely see all the types in our main set because that just have the difference between Japanese sets and international sets. Our Japanese sets tend to be a bit smaller. But anyways, let's look at the Pokemon here. I've taken a quick glance earlier today, but I haven't looked at them a ton. So these are like my early thoughts. This Tropius here, kind of interesting, but pretty generic. It just does like 130 for 3 is not that good. It's not garbage, though. You could play this in a Cherim grass box. I don't despise that, but I also don't really love that. It's probably just not very good, but not horrible either. I would have liked to see it have a bit more HP. Only 110 isn't a ton, but it's fine. And then sorry if my voice is a little funny as well, but yeah, this Amoonguss here it's pretty garbage. It's 60 for 2 paralysis on a coin flip. That's just not very good. There's no way to control coin flips, and there are a lot of switch options as well right now. Sprigatito, and pretty generic. Florigato can force your opponent to switch. That's not horrible, but not the reason you play it. But have I showcased this on the channel? I'm not sure, but Meowscarada, and this is the full set now. EX. I believe I have shown off some of these, but not all of them certainly. Ability to just go to Grass Energy from your hand to use this ability, then place 3 damage counters on one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. That's pretty alright. And then you have Nail Scratch, which does 120 for 2 colorless, payable with double turbo, as well as a number of other things. Mostly double turbo though. But then you use that to do 220 if they have damage counters on them. But that's kind of awkward to do. You can use your ability, and you can also use there are a number of other ways of getting damage on bench Pokemon, but not really any on active Pokemon outside of the Rapid Strike and Talion, which will be quite awkward to get into play. Not impossible. You can actually use Mustard, which will be surprisingly consistent, but still that's not great. But then Meowscarada, I think it's pretty alright. I like the ability. I think it's a solid grass Pokemon. I would have liked to see it a bit more versatile, but still pretty cool. Then this Nimble, nothing there. The low kicks here. Actually, I really like this low kick. So it does 130 if you evolve into it. And that's not bad by any means. It's pretty alright. It's a solid damage output, and it's pretty low maintenance. So I don't hate this. I don't love it, but I think it's pretty cool. And so I don't know where you'd play it, but if you ever need a tech Pokemon for grass, Lokix is pretty alright. You can't play it in Zoroark. You can't. You can use it with an Aurora box, but it is grass energy, so a bit awkward, but I think it's still pretty alright. Will it see play? Probably not. Grass weakness isn't that good to hit. But it would like a Bell or Defiant Band or whatever. You will be one-shotting everything with weakness, so that's pretty alright. But as I said, it's a bit. It's not anything amazing. Also, losing Scoop Up Net's not great for this. Paldean Taurus, there are 3 of them. This fire one's the best, I guess, because I think fire type has. I think it's solid. It's still not great though. 120 for 3, pretty underwhelming. fewer attack, more for each damage count on it, but it's never actually going to hit that much, so pretty underwhelming. This Volcarona, completely underwhelming, unfortunately. This Pyroar, again, pretty underwhelming. 60 to the active, 20 to one of their bench. You can't use this with double turbo, though, because then you won't really do any bench damage and do almost no active damage. And then, obviously, you're losing twin energy. So, pretty underwhelming here, unfortunately, too. This Oricorio, which we have seen before, I believe. Heal 20 from your active evolution. That's pretty good. You can stack this as well. So, if you want a bit of extra heal, I kind of like it. I believe some people have said it's just worse than Radiant Serena, which is not exactly true. Because it's not a Radiant, but I don't think Oricorio will see play, honestly. But I'm not sure where it'll see play, but I'm interested in seeing it. I think it'll be good. There's another Pokemon that I guess it'll see play with down here. This Skeledirge EX that does so it's first attack 50, heal 30 from each of your Pokemon. Then Burning Voice 270. This does 10 less for each damage counter on this Pokemon. So if you use Magma Basin, you can just go in with Oricorio to heal that damage off when you switch into the active. Skeledirge EX is really good, I think. Or not really good, but pretty solid. 270 is a good amount of damage to hit. And then Vitality Song isn't bad either. And then you also have... Okay, what are these ads? Aside to full attention to this, but why is it diaper ads? This is just weird. But anyways, again, PokeBeach, why are you doing this? I don't know. It's fine though. We still have the cards. So we see Skeledirge being pretty solid, and then you can heal a bunch. You can do a bunch of damage. I think it's pretty solid. I like the fire packages post rotation as well. You have the Magma Basin plus Rapidash plus Armor Rouge, and plus some other things I think as well. And I'm gonna plan on making a video with Zoroark Fire. I think is pretty good. Obviously this doesn't fit into that deck, but Skeledirge EX I think is a solid EX that will see play. Maybe I think it deserves to see play even if it doesn't. Another Water Paldeantaurus. This one's pretty bad. 60 snipe for Watercolorless Colorless isn't the worst thing in the world. But I doubt it'll be what you need in any deck. This Magikarp, pretty bad. This Gyarados, though, isn't bad. Watercolorless Colors 80, and then if you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent, this does 100 more. So that's pretty solid. With a Defiant Band, you'll probably have Double Turbo on. You don't necessarily have to have Double Turbo on, though. You can be hitting 210 damage here, which is pretty good. And also there's another Gyarados that's okay, and Gyarados EX, which is all right and kind of interesting. I think the Gyarados package is kind of coming into the format, which is interesting, and I kind of like it. I don't love it, but I think this will see a little bit of play here and there just because Gyarados will see play, and that's not a bad card by any means. And then 250 to itself for Watercolorless Colors isn't bad. It has 180 HP, which means it'll survive some hits, so I don't hate this card. I don't know if it'll see much play. I don't know if it really deserves to see much play, but I think it will see a little. This Delibird is pretty useless here, unfortunately. This Floatzel is... Okay, so it's flip coin. If heads, put your opponent's active and all cards attached to it into their hand. That's okay. If you're playing Floatzel control, you'll probably play this. But there's not really any way of controlling coin flips. If we have a way of guaranteeing coin flips, this could see play. But even then, it's not super powerful. But I don't hate this card, but I certainly don't love it either. And Quaxley here is pretty, obviously just to evolve, pretty generic. Quaxley, again, very generic. But then Quavel EX here. This one I also like, but I'm not sure if I love it. Water on a stage 260, switch to the bench, and then your opponent switches to the bench. This is kind of weird. It's hit and run. It's annoying that your opponent switches after you. I don't despise this, but it doesn't do a ton of damage, and I don't know if they're great hit and run targets for you to switch into. There's a Klefki that's super strong. Outside of that, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I think about this. We're losing Weezing, Miltank's losing a lot of value, so I don't really love this attack. The second attack, though, 230 for Watercolorless. This is obviously less than the what's it called, the Skeledirge, but it can do this more consistently. You do need to return 2 energy from this Pokemon to your hand. That could be a double turbo. Then, of course, you're doing less. But I still think that Quavel EX is pretty all right here. I'd say I think Meowscarada what's it, Meowscarada or something? I don't know. I think Meowscarada is the worst. I think Skeletor is the best. I think Quaquaval's in the middle. Um, of course, water typing has been super good and generally is one of the better types. So I think Quaquaval might see some play, but I don't think it's great. I think it'll be overshadowed by a lot of other things as well. Now we have Watchful here. Some people are talking about this one a lot. Not because it's good, though. It's not good by itself. But it has an attack Dangerous Wings. 20 for each Pokemon in your Disco Pilot has Dangerous Wings, which is like, oh wait, that's Mad Party. That's Nightmare. That's really cool. Except this is the only Pokemon we've seen with Dangerous Wings, so presumably we'll see something else with Dangerous Wings. But I don't know if we will. Hopefully we will, though. And then it'll be like a Mad Party style deck, which I'm, of course, a fan of. It's one of the decks I started out with. Nightmare is a very classic deck that some people started out with. And it will see play, I imagine. But right now it won't see play, right? This other Watchful, though, isn't too bad either. Your opponent shuffles their hand to the deck, draws 4 in a Ditto Toolbox. This could see play. It's called Devastating Wind. I wouldn't say it's quite devastating enough. 4 cards is still a bunch, but it's not bad. And now Kilowattrel here. So you do 150 for 3 colors. Isn't bad. You can't attack next turn, but 150. This will one-shot Palkia, Lugia. It's just awkward to power up, unfortunately. And if you have a double turbo, you're not one-shotting them, so you need some other buffs or something, or just don't play double turbo. I don't despise this, but I certainly don't like it either. But I think this could see play, but there's a Raichu as well that just much better at punishing Lugia and Palkia, so I don't think it's great. This Mischievous doesn't do much. Mismagius, a bit of an interesting card here. When you evolve into it, you can return an energy to the defending Pokemon, and move it to one of their bench Pokemon. That's kind of weird. It feels a bit weak, but I don't hate it. It's an ability. It actually might be good. I'm not sure, but like reducing your opponent's access to energy or like just disrupting them, that's always good. I don't hate this. You can't again use it with you can't use it with the Zoroarks that's on play, but I kind of like it. I don't hate it. Yeah, I can't decide just yet, unfortunately. But I think it deserves a place in decks as like not control decks, but like disruption decks such as Bayonet. I think Bayonet, an item lock style deck, will like this type of card. And then we also see also using Scoopernets, of course, bad for this as well. And then let's see, this Grumpig is not unfortunately very good. Can accelerate energy, but it's still not that good. Dedenne EX, I really like this one. So 2 attacks here. It's Trassel as well, meaning it's immune to bench damage. Hopefully it'll we'll see more effects of Trasselized Pokemon. I think we will, but if not, I'll be very disappointed. But I hope we will. And then Tail Swap here, move all damage counters from one of your bench Pokemon to your opponent's active. That's super good paired with the Gardevoir EX. And you can do Wonder Shot, 170 discard energy from this Pokemon. Not bad either with Gardevoir EX. So I really like this one. Yeah, I like this card a lot. I think it's like an not an auto include, but a good card in Gardevoir EX decks. That's why I like that quite a bit. It's low HP though, but I think it has solid value in a lot of matchups with Gardevoir EX. I haven't played Gardevoir EX yet, but I think it's pretty good. This Ranker, kind of weird. Psychic Colorless stops your opponent from using one of their attacks, but that's bad. I thought it was 1 colorless or 1 psychic. I don't know, but it's bad. It does 30 damage, but you don't really want to do damage on this style attack. It's not the worst Pokemon but we've seen, but it's not good. A Tinkatink. Honestly, I love this Tinkatink art. I'm a big fan of that. But the Tinkatuff, not good. Not horrible, but not great. But then we also see this Tinkaton, really good ability here. Discard a card from your hand, draw 3. And then we see the Special Hammer ability, attack, 90, 180 if you have Special Energy attack attached. I think this is solid. I think it should see play. The issue is it's just so much worse than the Gardevoir line. It's just way more awkward because you just don't have an amazing Stage 1. So even if the Stage 2 is amazing, I don't think this will see much play. I don't hate it. You could even pair it with Gardevoir, but I don't think it's quite good enough. Again, it's not bad, but it's just getting overshadowed by other stuff. And we've seen Hisuian Samurai with the same ability. Hasn't seen too much play either. Diglett here. Doug Trio, immune to damage on a coin flip, kind of alright. I don't despise this card. I mean, I will despise it if it sees play, but I don't think it's that bad. Also, pretty solid art. I kind of like it. And this last Paldean Toro is kind of bad. I don't see any reason to play this, even if it's not a great tech option or anything. Hariyama here, though, super interesting. Stage 1, all of your Pokemon take 10 less damage from attacks. You can stack this. It's a Stage 1, so it's doable. Of course, well, I was going to say weaker than Gardevoir, or Radiant Gardevoir, but not necessarily. You take 10 less damage from everything. This isn't bad, but it's just not a much reduction. But in some decks, maybe Hisuian Ultra V-Star, you could play Hariyama. So I think it's really interesting. Is it good enough? Probably not, but it's certainly a consideration. Okay, Lycanroc EX, the big card we've seen revealed. It's not that good, unfortunately, but 40 for 1 fighting on a Stage 1 isn't that bad, honestly. No, it's not great, but it's okay. But then Scary Fang, 140 during your opponent's next turn. If this Pokemon is damaged by an attack, even if it's KO'd, you do 10 damage on the attacking Pokemon, or your opponent's attacking Pokemon. So that's essentially 240 for 3. That's not bad. There are ways to defend yourself. There are ways to power this up easier. I don't hate this at all. I kind of like this. Of course, you have, I think there's some like Chestplate card. I don't know what it's called, but it means fighting Pokemon take less damage. You are losing Stone Fighting, unfortunately, but I think this card's okay. You could even pair it with the Hariyama I just showed off. So, I mean, I think this is a pretty cool attacker. It's not super interesting, but I think I think it could see play. It's an EX. It looks like an average EX. Also, that art's pretty cool, but it looks pretty average. Phalanx. Now, this is a really interesting Phalanx here. If you want a fighting attacker, excuse me, I'm a bit sick right now, but if you need a fighting attacker, this Phalanx, fighting colorless, 70 if you have another Phalanx on your bench, you do 90 more. So 160, 140 if you have a double turbo. Still probably one-shotting things. You do need a bit of a commitment to it. You need at least 2 Phalanx in deck, but it's not bad. I honestly kind of like this. It's an alright attacker. I'm kind of a fan of this. It's not, as I said, amazing. There is another Phalanx that does damage if you're, I think if your opponent's on their last prize, it's kind of interesting. But, I think this Phalanx is fair. I kind of like it, but as I said, it's a bit awkward to set up. This Paldean Clodsire EX, I actually really like this. With this ability, if there's a stadium play, leave your opponent's active poisoned. And then you do essentially 200 for dark colorless. Of course, the ability here is really nice, and also it's pretty tanky. It looks like, although I'm not exactly sure what to compare it to. It's tanky though. I kind of like that. And then its damage output's not great, but then doing the poison I think is pretty solid. And it's nothing amazing. It might not see too much play, but I kind of like it, and it's pretty consistent. But also, it pairs really nicely with this Sableye here, which I really like. Unseen Claw is doing 20, but doing 90 if they have a special condition. So of course you do the poison with something like Paldean Clodsire, and then you do Sableye. And Sableye is pretty solid. We've seen cards like Hoopa, Moltres, Zapdos see play with the ability to do like 90. 80, 100 for just 1 energy on a basic, and this is very similar. It can hit weakness as well, which is pretty nice. It won't be like one-shotting stuff, but it's still pretty solid. I do like this Sableye. I don't know if it'll see play, but I think if special conditions ever become pretty viable, I think Sableye will definitely see play. The Survivor here is pretty bad. It can do 100 for 2 to an evolution, but that's not great. We saw this Hydreigon. This Hydreigon is bad. I don't think I've showed this on video, but it's bad. Try how once on your turn you may look at the top 3 cards of your deck, attach energy there you find there to your Pokemon. Discard the others. I described this as someone said this card has been revealed. What do you think? I said this is like a bad Archeops, and they said it's a really bad Archeops, and yes, it is. You don't really control it. You accelerate. You can do a special energy and basic energy, but it's inconsistent. It's a stage 2. Its attack's not that good, and you're just losing random cards from your deck as well, so it's pretty bad, unfortunately. This Salandit here, that's bad. Salazzle here, very generic, very bad. And then this is the last Pokemon, which actually is pretty good. This might be one of the best Pokemon in the set. This is Gumshoos for 2 colors on stage 1. 60 discard an energy from your opponent's active. That can be really good, especially in a Zoroark style deck if you play double turbo or some of the other energy acceleration options. And so you may be thinking, like, this doesn't seem good, but it is, I think. Being able to remove that one energy and do damage, I think, can be super strong. You can literally win games with this. You probably won't, but you could. But I just think this is going to see play. I think it deserves to see play. I don't think it's great, but I think in Zoroark, which I think is going to look super strong post-rotation, surprisingly, I think this Gumshoe could see play. And then Superior Energy Retrieval getting reprinted. I kind of like that. It's a card, right? Not too much to say about it, but art looks pretty solid as well. As I said, I like this art style. Very clear what it's showing. I like it. And then Great Ball. This Great Ball honestly doesn't look that good. The style looks good, but the Great Ball art itself doesn't look that good. Not that impactful either. Dendra here. So this is a supporter. They're pretty solid art here. A bit blurry, but I like the art. But a really interesting effect, I guess. It's a draw supporter. Put one card from your hand on the bottom of your deck, then draw until you have 5 cards in hand. That's not super strong. But it's it preserves a resource. It's kind of like Caitlyn, very arguably better. I don't know. I think it just doesn't draw enough, unfortunately. But it's a card that you could consider in a few decks here or there. But if you ever see yourself getting a large hand size ever, it's not good enough, of course. And now this Clavel here. Also, this art, like from a distance, it looks like it's just pulled straight out of the game. But, it's fine. Clavel, search your deck for 3 basic Pokemon that have 120 HP or less and put them into your hand, meaning you can still use their abilities on play. Clavel is super good for any setup deck or for any EX deck. I think this is insane. Obviously, the turn 1 supporter rule where you can't play a supporter going first will hurt this card, but it's still a very good card. You can Lumineon V for this turn 1, and then get it down, and then get all your Pokemon down. I really like Clavel here. Clavel, I don't know how to pronounce this, but I think it's pretty solid. I don't think it's like completely broken, but I think it's all right. I'm also gonna go over this on the reprint. We got Bosso's Getsis in his funky clothing. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Getsis. Close is cool. Getsis isn't as cool. Then we have Falkner here. And this is actually a really interesting card as well. Draw 2, and then it's another, if you have a condition, draw 2 more, which usually are really bad. But it says if you have a stadium in play, draw 2. And I'm assuming this is if there is a stadium in play, right? Not if you yourself have a stadium in play. Like if it's your stadium, it's a bit unclear. Sorry, I pressed the button, scrolled down, but like this is pretty consistent. And if you're playing a deck, you'll probably play a bunch of stadiums as well. To be able to activate this, which isn't bad. Most decks run a lot of stadiums. This is a good card. It's not a broken card. Someone was like, if you have a draw 4, that's like just a straight draw 4 that's broken. It's not. Sorry to say. Like Hop's just underpowered, like blatantly. Everyone says Hop's bad, and it is bad. If it was just draw 4, it would be okay. It would certainly be playable, but it wouldn't be great. It wouldn't be overpowered. But this is looking like it could be almost a serious draw 4 card, which is cool. It's again not overpowered, but I think it could see play, and especially with these new stadiums coming into play. I don't actually know. Artazone Town. Yeah, Artazone Town. Once during each player's turn, that they can search their deck for a basic Pokemon, except for Full Box, and put it onto the bench. That's great for EX evolving decks, as well as any evolving deck that's playing Gardevoir or any other engine. This is just a very good card. I think it'll definitely see tons of play, and I'm excited to see that. Will it be like insanely good? I don't know. I think it might see play in a lot of decks. Of course, it doesn't give you guaranteed a ton of guaranteed power, but I think it's still pretty cool. And I think it's worth running, especially like now every stadium that could be good, you're looking at Faulkner and saying, oh, this could be even better. And then Lesson Studio here. So the attacks of each player's stage 1 do 10 more to their opponent's active. So keep in mind, this does not do effective VMAXs or V-Stars. They don't do more damage, but stage 1 EXs as well as regular stage 2s do more damage. Okay, why do we have it like a wine commercial next to like a diaper commercial? This is very strange. Funky Beach, what is like going on here? Anyways, So Lesson Studio, I don't think this is a big deal. It's not much damage, but it could be worth it, right? It's not horrible. Now, two of the most interesting cards, especially this one here. But this one, it's not the last card, yeah. So Jet Energy here, it's a colorless energy, and you switch into the Pokemon you attach it to. Assuming it's obviously a bench Pokemon. So that's not bad. I don't hate it. I don't love it. Someone said it could be used if you attach it to a Comfey, then you can retreat the Comfey for Lost Zone decks. I mean, that's true, but it's not that good. It's okay. But then you also it's having a switch option is nice. It might see a little bit of play here or there, but I don't think it'll see a ton. And then we see luminous energy. Also, we see the energy symbol getting different here. Kind of weird. It's like different than Aurora energy, but in like rainbow energy, different symbol, but it's fine. Luminous energy here though, obviously provides every type of energy, but only if this is the only special energy card attached. So if you have another special energy, say you put two luminous energy on the same Pokemon, now it's just providing two colorless energy. So instead, you're looking to do one luminous energy and then other basic energies. So this is super interesting. I think this is very powerful when paired with Armor Rouge. I think it's very powerful when paired with Bronzong, those style of decks. Probably Armor Rouge more so because Bronzong is literally Metal Saucer. But I think this is super strong, but very situational as well. It's not overpowered in Regis or Lugia like Aurora Energy is, but it's certainly very viable and balanced. I really love this card. This is probably my favorite card of the whole set. And I'm going to play a ton, I think. You'll see the decks that I'm talking about. Some Zoroark decks, some like EX decks. They're really cool. I think Luminous Energy is going to be awesome for the game. Super excited. But I hope you enjoyed. I'm interested in hearing what your thoughts are on these new cards. And Scarlet Violet as well, which is right around the corner. But I hope you enjoyed, and as always, I'm excited to see you in the next video.